¡Vamos!
My opinion on why the United States has been number one for so long, and I think that for the most part you can look at a cultural differences and women's opportunities around the world. Nowhere in the world do women get more opportunities to go out and compete and be allowed to compete than in the culture of the United States. To be top-class women's athletes, whether they are tennis players or swimmers or soccer players.
Obviously they have a lot of money, maybe more than others, but I think they have so many girls who play soccer. They have like many millions of girls, when like in Iceland we have like 600 girls who play soccer. So I think there are more girls, like more good players to choose from.
You know, I just think that, you know, for the United States, there's just so many opportunities for women to get involved with good soccer players, good teams, good coaches. And, you know, for the United States, they just have such a large pool to select from.
Well, my hope is that we give them so many opportunities. I think, you know, women's soccer is growing so much in the United States. And at the youth level, they're getting exceptional training. And then they're putting on events like this. Here, Florida Atlantic University has opened up to us, and it's an amazing stadium, amazing facilities. And, you know, then all the media coverage and all these things. I think there's just so much for these players to aspire to.
Well, I think that the U.S. probably, particularly in the early days, had the biggest commitment to women's soccer. Probably an awful lot of players playing, a lot of money being invested in the development of the team and the women here in the U.S. And I think that there's a lot of factors that have led us to that point.
My joke is always that women don't flop in soccer. We're the fighters. We're always playing through. But I think, like our coach said earlier, it's the talent, the competitiveness. We have great teams coming from all over California, Texas, the East Coast, and the girls just, I don't know, there's so many girls that get into this sport, and then the talent just builds and builds as they move on. So I think when we get to the professional level or the Olympic level, that's where the real stars come out and just stick out in the world.
The United States, clearly that Anson Dorrance and the people who were the start of the U.S. women's national team, Tony DeCicco, and those guys did a great job of nurturing that competitive environment and making it to where it was something that attracted the best in what American women could go out and do on an international scene.
My hope is that we can continue to be leaders in the game, certainly looking throughout the world now and seeing the quality that the Germans have and the Swedish team has and the Brazilians have, and you know, many of these different countries, the gap is certainly closed.
I think in other countries, soccer is really big for men, and you know, they're starting to touch with women, and you know, I think that's going to give the United States a run for their money at some point. You know, there's a lot of women in other countries that are just so technical and kind of learn soccer in the raw form. You know, just playing in the backyard, and you know, having to really develop that creative sense of the game. And you know, in soccer in the United States, it's a little more organized, and you're kind of learning those skills later. And those are the special players that are able to learn that creativity, but also, you know, the athleticism that is notorious for the United States.
I think that soccer is really huge in the United States now. I think that you know, it's growing every year and more popularity. I think we have a lot of choices in the United States, you know, with American football and basketball and all these other, you know, great sports. But I definitely think that soccer is in the landscape now, and it's a big part of the culture. And you're seeing it in the MLS, you're seeing it in women's soccer, you're seeing it at the youth levels. You know, more and more kids are participating in soccer. So I think it's getting bigger every year, and the future looks really bright for soccer in all aspects.